Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our studies of 2 Samuel. Today we're in 2 Samuel chapter 10, and here we come into a situation where David is going to try to reach out to the new king of one of the nations, and it's not going to be taken as it was intended. As you start into chapter 10, the king of Ammon is going to die. And the son of the king of Ammon is going to be placed on the throne. David is going to send emissaries from Israel to greet and to welcome the new king and to show kindness to him. And the text says it is because the king of Ammon was kind to David. If you'll recall, when David is running from Saul, there are going to be times where he is going to need the help of those around him. And the king of Ammon is one of those who is going to assist him. So when these emissaries come, these individuals from David are going to come seeking nothing more than to show David's kindness and his hope for the new king to do well, and so on and so forth. But the king has some bad advisors. And these advisors, instead of taking the things that David has offered at face value, has said that basically these individuals are actually here to spy on the city and to see if it's ripe for the plundering. And so because of this, the new king, Hanun, is going to take the advice of his advisors, of his princes, and he is going to take David's servants. He is going to shave off half of their beards. He's going to cut their garments in the middle at the buttocks and basically expose them and shame them before everyone. And then he's going to send them away. The cutting off of half of the beard was considered to be the ultimate sign of shame, or of removing the manhood of an individual in that particular time. And so he has done everything that he can to disgrace them and to shame them. As a matter of fact, they are so shamed that they will not even come all the way back to Jerusalem. They will only come as far as Jericho. And there they will wait until their beards have regrown again before coming back to Jerusalem. This has not just been a slap in the face. This has been an all-out physical attack on the people of David. And David cannot and will not let that go. He will not let that slide. However, he does not respond until Ammon goes out and starts hiring mercenaries. Well, the only purpose of mercenaries is to fight, which means Ammon has every intention of fighting against David. You'll notice that the text says that it's not going to be until David hears of these thousands of Syrian mercenaries that the Ammonites have hired that he sends out Joab and his army of mighty men. And so Joab is going to prepare for this battle, but Joab is going to have to prepare for it on two fronts. You've got the Ammonites on one side and you've got the Syrians on the other, and his men are going to be in the middle, so to speak. And so he is going to set up the army, and he is going to set some of Israel's best men in one area, and he's going to be in charge of them. And then he's going to set the rest of the men in another area, and his brother Abishai is going to be over them. And you see in this particular situation the type of assistance and the type of help that Joab says will be available in the midst of this battle. In verse 11, he says, "If the Syrians are too strong for me, then you shall help me. But if the people of Ammon are too strong for you, then I will come and help you. Be of good courage, and let us be strong for our people and for the cities of our God. And may the Lord do what is good in his sight." It doesn't matter which side it is, there will be support in time of battle. They're not going to be stuck out on an island. They're not going to be stuck dealing with things alone. They will have help if it is needed. As we face the troubles and the battles of our lives, it is important that we understand that there are others that are there to help, that there is support if there are times of need, that there are those that are willing to be there, to stand there with us and to help us if the fight gets too difficult and if the time gets too hard. While it may not be a physical war and a physical battlefield, we are going to deal with struggles. We are going to deal with problems. We are going to deal with difficulties and fights in our lives. But we need to understand we don't have to deal with them alone. Joab and Abishai also have their trust and their faith in God. He says, "The Lord do what is good in his sight." Ammon and Syria are going to be destroyed, or their armies are going to be destroyed. And when the king of Syria hears that the Syrian mercenaries have been destroyed, he comes out to battle against David, as though somehow it's David's fault that there are Syrian mercenaries that are there. But he comes out to battle with his best general, and they are soundly defeated. And so you've had the king of Israel who has had to fight the Ammonites over something that was not his intention and was not his fault. And then he's now having to fight the Syrians because of what the Ammonites did in hiring mercenaries, which again wasn't his fault. And yet he's stuck in this situation. And yet, in all of it, when it comes down to the end of the chapter, you know what happens? There's going to be peace with Israel. Because all of the kings, verse 19, who were servants to Hadadezer, saw that they were defeated by Israel, and they made peace with Israel. They saw what happened with the people of God, and they decided they wanted to be on that side. And so ultimately, it is going to lead to peace, even though they were fighting battles that they didn't want to fight under circumstances they did not want to be in. They handled themselves well and were met with peace in the end. We need to be careful as we look at the lessons from 2 Samuel chapter 10. We need to be careful about whose advice we listen to, and about what it is that they're saying and why they're saying it. What are the motivations behind it? And do they truly understand what's going on? We need to be those who are willing to support one another in times of battle. And we need to recognize that there will be others that are watching that will respond based upon what we do and how we do it. And that if we do things the way that we should, the responses and the outcomes can be very good. Those are some of the things that I've taken from 2 Samuel chapter 10. I hope they're beneficial to you. Next time we'll come back and we'll begin looking at 2 Samuel chapter 11. But until then, have a great day.